I think Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in the world. And I've been in training camp, I've seen him up close, I've seen what he goes through. Before the Fury fight, I thought he would probably have the better of Tyson in that second fight. And I think the rounds, as they ticked on, he was just more and more superior. I thought Tyson actually boxed really well second time. Look, Oleksandr Usyk is a phenomenon. I agree with Spencer that Daniel Dubois is a much, much better.
Oleksandr Usyk claims Daniel Dubois still has quit in him, insinuating that the British heavyweight lacks the mental strength to ever truly challenge for the title.
And people have labelled him and called him a quitter. They've seen what happened in the Joyce fight. Even against you, he finished the fight on his knee. Does he have a weakness?
Little bit, yes. Little bit, yes, because maybe it's a younger guy, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but Daniel, little bit afraid. I'm too, but my afraid is different.
As the highly anticipated rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois draws closer, the tension is palpable, with both fighters poised to leave their mark on the heavyweight division once again. But amid the excitement, Usyk has stirred the pot by making a bold claim about his British opponent, suggesting that Dubois still has quit in him. The Ukrainian champion's comments have sparked a range of reactions across the boxing world, with some experts and fighters backing Usyk's belief, while others hold out hope for Dubois to cause an upset.
Do you think he's a better fighter now than he was the first time you fought?
Maybe, yeah, maybe, because a lot of years, 2, 3, yeah, yeah. Now I think Daniel grow.
And do you think
like a boxer, like a man?
Yeah. Does he deserve this opportunity, or is there someone else more deserving? Joe Parker maybe, or does Daniel deserve his shot?
Yeah, I think Daniel deserve, because Daniel from UK. It's interesting for all people.
Their first fight in August 2023 saw Usyk retain his titles in a dominant performance, even though Dubois showed promise, especially after a controversial low blow in the 5th round that nearly caused an upset. Usyk managed to recover from the blow and ultimately stopped Dubois in the 9th, winning via a solid jab. Yet, for Usyk, there seems to be a lingering belief that Dubois' mental strength might not be fully developed, casting a shadow of doubt over the challenger's ability to truly threaten him in the rematch.
Going back to Poland, the first fight with Daniel, there was obviously a bit of controversy and a lot of noise about whether the shot was illegal or legal. But I want to ask you, and I think I know the answer. If the referee starts to count, 1, 2, 3, do you get up?
If referee start 1, 2, 3, I wake up.
Yeah.
It's not problem for me. Listen, it was in the past. For me, I live now, present.
This lingering doubt stems from Dubois' previous encounters. He famously quit in his fight against Joe Joyce in 2020, suffering a fractured eye socket and opting not to continue. While that defeat was a tough one to swallow for Dubois, his subsequent rise has shown signs of redemption. The Brit has since put together an impressive streak, defeating the likes of Gerald Miller, Filip Hrgovic, and Anthony Joshua in a string of dominant performances. Yet, for Usyk, these victories may not be enough to wipe away the doubt about Dubois' resolve.
And we talk about that. Oleksandr Usyk always says, look young in every fight, but it can take one night to get old overnight. You talked about your bombs away mentality, said I'm coming in, it's bombs away this time.
Yeah. Focus, clever, smart, but a dangerous destruction. That's my style, and I can't wait to put it on him. Just can't wait, really. Yeah.
The notion of fear and weakness has been a central theme for those analyzing the potential rematch. While some, like Usyk, believe that Dubois may still have a mental block that could stop him in the heat of battle, others see his growth as a fighter as undeniable. Those who are backing Dubois, such as Johnny Fisher, argue that the improvements he's made both technically and mentally since their first encounter make him a much more dangerous opponent. His newfound confidence and experience, they argue, could be the key to upsetting Usyk.
Talk to us about the shot that was and your initial thoughts when you landed the shot.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even like going back onto that, but it was what it was at the time. I'm a new fighter, a man of the future now. That's in the past.
The question on everyone's mind is whether Usyk truly believes Dubois has grown enough to make a real challenge. When asked whether Dubois is a better fighter now than when they first met, Usyk's response was tempered yet optimistic. He acknowledged that Dubois might indeed be a better fighter now, noting his recent successes as evidence of his improvement. Usyk also remarked that Dubois has matured, both as a boxer and as a person, which many believe makes this rematch a much more intriguing prospect.
Usyk, I think, is the best fighter of our generation, but if you go on too long, you'll get beat. You know what? I think Dubois has a good chance. I think he's developed mentally, physically. If you ask Usyk to give a name of someone he's sparred, best fighter that people wouldn't expect, it would be me. I gave him all kinds of trouble, and I'm sure he'd admit that, and if he wouldn't, he's a liar.
The world's eyes are now on the July 19th rematch, and many notable figures within the boxing community have already weighed in with their predictions. Former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs, known for his charismatic personality and confident predictions, has backed Usyk for the win, though he admits the fight will be a tough one. While Briggs recognizes the challenge Dubois presents, his belief in Usyk's talent and experience seems to be unwavering.
Shannon, Usyk Dubois, 2 weeks' time. Who you got for that one?
Tough one, but I got Usyk. I got Usyk, yes.
On the flip side, former world champion Prince Nassim Hamed has a more optimistic view for Dubois. Hamed feels that if Dubois can replicate the power and intensity he showed in the first fight, while avoiding any mistakes like fouls or illegal blows, he could once again find a way to trouble Usyk. Hamed's assessment hinges on Dubois' unpredictability, noting that his raw power and willingness to take risks make him a dangerous fighter.
Do you think both of them coming off losses? It's the fight we always wanted to see as domestic boxing fans.
Yeah, I suppose that fight is right there, and everybody still wants to see it. But to be honest, we've still got Daniel Dubois, and I was sat next to Daniel Dubois.
Triple D, baby.
Triple D, baby, all day, every day. Let me just tell you this. In my eyes, for me, he's the only one. Triple D is the only one, Daniel Dubois is the only one that's ever hurt Usyk and put him down on the floor, made him think. And he was down there for like 3-4 minutes. So who's to say that once he fights Usyk again, to go out there and absolutely destroy him and bring our belts back to our country like it's supposed to be.
However, the majority of analysts, including veteran fighters like Derek Chisora, believe that Usyk's consistency and ability to adapt will be the deciding factors. Chisora, who has faced both Usyk and Dubois, points to the champion's composure under pressure as one of his defining strengths. In their first encounter, Usyk showed remarkable resilience, bouncing back after a shaky start and eventually stopping Dubois. Chisora's analysis suggests that Dubois' improvements are noteworthy, but overcoming Usyk's superior boxing IQ and adaptability remains an incredibly tall order.
Derek, in regards to yourself, are you going to just sit back and see what happens with Dubois and Usyk first?
Yes, because I want to sit down and watch it. So, give a shout out to Daniel. Good luck anyway. You'll be fighting a guy who's very on point. So, yeah, I'll be watching.
Others, such as boxing experts Teddy Atlas and Johnny Nelson, share similar thoughts. While they acknowledge Dubois' technical growth, they continue to back Usyk's experience as the key difference maker. Atlas, a renowned trainer and commentator, emphasizes that although Dubois' physical improvements are evident, Usyk's ability to read and react to opponents will likely make him too difficult to beat. Nelson, on the other hand, stresses that the fight will not be decided by a single punch, but by Usyk's ability to apply constant pressure and maintain his composure in the face of adversity.
I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine. And I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. that he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body, it shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight.
The world heavyweight landscape is completely changed massively over the last 2 years. Oleksandr Usyk is now he's in a pick and fight. I'll pick him. Might be 2 fights down the line, he's gone. The heavyweight landscape, they're looking for a new star, a new dominant figure, and it could involve Fabio. The boxing snob is out there winning now. Moses, wicked fighter, young fighters coming through. You look at how Daniel has all of a sudden his confidence has come up. We'll see how he goes on against Usyk. Again, he may shock the world. So the landscape has changed, which again, it's very hard to predict tomorrow.
How much of a chance do you give Daniel Dubois in comparison to the second AJ fight, the Fury fights?
I think Daniel's performance in this fight will be better than his first fight against Usyk, but I do believe Usyk will put on a better performance and probably stop Daniel. In my opinion, Usyk has forever shown the public that let me blueprint download your blueprint, and I've got your number. He beat Tyson better the second time. He beat AJ better the second time, and both fighters boxed better the second time around. So the only thing Daniel's got now, he's got unbelievable self-belief and confidence that's come since their last fight. So again, we'll just see what's changed.
While most experts favor Usyk, there are still a few who believe Dubois has what it takes to pull off an upset. Former European champion Spencer Oliver, for example, expresses full confidence in the younger fighter. Oliver feels that Dubois' technical evolution, coupled with his recent victories, makes him a much more complete boxer than before. He argues that the upcoming fight will be a true test for Usyk and believes Dubois has the tools to make history.
Daniel Dubois beats Oleksandr Usyk.
How do you get to a point where you, besides the emotive connection with thinking that Daniel is in a better place than he was before, there's been no decline in Usyk, and we know we've got Krzyzak in the background leaving him as a promoter, but none of us think that's going to really affect Usyk. I've described Daniel Dubois as an irresistible force that might just be coming up against the immovable object. How do you reach the point where you are aligning upon Daniel Dubois beating Usyk? And we've been wrong every time we've put against Usyk, it's gone the other way.
I was going to say, firstly, do not agree with me because you do get them ones wrong.
I do agree with you, by the way.
Oh, you do?
I think that's because I want it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, look.
So you're both picking Dubois?
Absolutely. So I know Daniel Dubois. I see him work from day to day. I know what they're working on tactically. Go back to 2023 when Dubois lost to Oleksandr Usyk, and you say, all right, yeah, look, they seem quite far apart there. He had his moments, Daniel, but Usyk was sort of leagues above him then. Oleksandr Usyk has not got better since then. There's a lot of miles on the clock since then. There's no sign of deterioration. But what I'm saying is Daniel Dubois is a different character, a different animal from then.
You're saying that Usyk has not got better since fighting Daniel Dubois, even though he's dealt with Fury.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't mean he's improved. I think the two fights
really got worse either, does it?
No. The 2 fights with Fury. I'm just doing this. It's a calculated gamble. I think the 2 fights with Fury would have put some miles on the clock with Usyk, and Daniel Dubois, since the Usyk loss, has improved dramatically. And I mean dramatically, not just physically, mentally as well.
Meanwhile, Dave Allen, a heavyweight who has sparred with Usyk, strikes a more balanced tone. He acknowledges Usyk's superior boxing abilities, but also sees the improvements Dubois has made in terms of technique and strategy. Allen predicts that the rematch will be a much closer contest than the first, with Usyk's adaptability facing a sterner test than it did before.
I think Dubois will be in. That's my early prediction. I know a lot of people will obviously fancy Usyk, and rightfully so. And as much as I like Dubois and think he's getting better and all the rest of it, I'd like to see Usyk win. I think Usyk's a great fella and a great fighter, but I think Dubois will win.
Tyson Fury, ever the showman, also weighed in, suggesting that age and wear might play a role in Usyk's performance. Fury believes that the Ukrainian's past battles, especially against him, may have taken a toll on Usyk's body, potentially giving the younger, fresher Dubois an advantage. Fury's comments are less about Dubois' specific abilities and more about Usyk's physical decline, arguing that the time might be right for Dubois to strike.
Final one, Usyk, Dubois or Anthony Joshua, who would you rather fight? Just hypothetically. Who would I rather fight right now? Usyk. Because I want me revenge in England. That's all I want. I want a fair shout. And I don't believe I've got a fair shout the last 2 times. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do, because I can't leave it go to the decision. I'm going to have to knock the cunt out. But yeah, that's the one I want. But if I don't get that, then it'd be Joshua, the biggest British fight that will ever happen. And it would break all records, and it would sell out 100,000 at Wembley in an hour. And it's a fight that I think can happen for sure if I decide to come back and the deal's right and all the other shit that goes with it.
What's the one bit of advice you'd give to Dubois against Usyk?
Knock him out, because I wouldn't say that, because it's in England and it's on his own show, so just do the best you can. That's it, best you can. It hurt before the body shot put him down heavily.
Ricky Hatton, a keen observer of the sport, has a nuanced take on the rematch. He points out that the loss to Joe Joyce in 2023, while a setback, was a pivotal moment for Dubois' career. Hatton believes that the defeat has shaped Dubois into a more focused and determined fighter, and this could play a critical role in the upcoming fight.
Quickly, Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois, what do you make of that fight, the rematch?
I think it's the best fight. I think they're the best 2 heavyweights in the world, and there was a bit of controversy with the last time, which goes with the grain in boxing, doesn't it? A bit of controversy, but no, I think Daniel's got a better chance than he had the first time. Yeah, what with the win off Joshua, that his confidence is massively up. Well, when he fought Usyk last time, he come off the defeat from Joyce, and but now he's absolutely flying. He's got as good a chance. Better chance than he had the first time around, I think.
Fraser Clark, a fellow heavyweight, believes that Dubois' raw power alone won't be enough to dethrone Usyk. While Clark acknowledges Dubois' impressive strength, he insists that it's Usyk's refined skills, tactical intelligence, and ring craft that will ultimately tip the balance in the rematch. For Dubois to stand a real chance, Clark argues, he must not only harness his physicality, but also demonstrate mental clarity and a well-structured game plan. Dubois will need more than brute force. He'll need to match Usyk's relentless pressure with sharp strategy and unwavering focus.
It gives a lot more. It's a different Dubois, it's a different fight. I think he gives a lot more problem. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's starting to realise when he hits things, things fall over. If he hits them often enough and clean enough, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Usyk or whoever else. I know he's a tough man, Usyk, but if Daniel hits you often enough and hard enough, you break. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Saying that, I know he's in great form and that, but this Usyk, mate, he's the real deal, mate. So no one just get giddy and get too excited about Daniel, mate. We're talking about the real deal, and Oleksandr Usyk. When he needs to be tough and tough, and when he needs to be super smart, he's that as well. But I think Daniel, with the wave of confidence he's got, would cause him more problems now than he did before, definitely.
Adam Booth, a pivotal figure in Dubois' corner, has also pointed to significant changes in his fighter's approach. According to Booth, the Brit has made a major shift towards a more modern and tactical style of boxing, one that better suits the challenges posed by someone as skilled as Usyk. In their first encounter, Dubois relied on a more conventional approach that, while effective against certain opponents, was ill-suited for the technical brilliance of the Ukrainian champion. Now, with a more disciplined and focused mindset, Booth believes Dubois is a far more dangerous proposition, equipped with the tools to implement a smarter, more effective game plan.
How do you see this one, Adam, playing out?
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight.
He did. Do you think it was a low blow?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You do think it was a low blow?
Absolutely was. If you look,
you do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry, you caught me out then with the question. If you watch, it lands low, and while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant because they're going to fight again.
Yeah.
Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage. But Daniel Dubois is a different fighter now. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jarrell Miller that tested his engine. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style.
Chris Algieri, another key member of Dubois' team, shares Booth's optimism. He highlights that Dubois isn't just fighting to avenge his loss, but is coming into this contest as a more seasoned and confident fighter. With standout wins over Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua, Dubois has proven he can compete with the very best in the division. Algieri sees the challenger as a more polished, battle-hardened contender who now enters the ring with the experience and self-assurance to truly challenge Usyk's dominance. His growth as a fighter, Algieri suggests, makes Dubois a formidable threat to Usyk's reign as the undisputed heavyweight champion.
But the narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has like really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, there's a good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, you know, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons why it's being made.
With all the predictions, assessments, and opinions from the boxing community, one thing is certain. The rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois promises to be a thrilling and unpredictable contest. Will Usyk's experience and tactical brilliance once again prove too much for the challenger? Or can Dubois' growth and newfound confidence finally help him overcome the champion and claim the undisputed heavyweight title? Only time will tell.